What's up? What's good? How are we doing, guys? Welcome to another episode of Deep Thoughts. I'm your host, Adam. And today we're just talking about some stuff. It's a nice, beautiful, hot June day. Late June. Getting close to one of my favorite days, Independence Day. Love me some 4th of July, man. A holiday that's kind of gotten better since I've gotten older, I think. I don't know why. Maybe it's the fact that I grill food now. I like to grill hot dogs and burgers. Maybe that's why. Maybe, I look forward to just having an excuse to do that. I like being outside on a hot summer day. I like that as a kid, too, but I have a different appreciation for it, Back in the day, I was just playing and didn't I just liked that was a nice day to be outside and play like a kid, But as an adult, it's like I like it because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Beautiful thing that we have different seasons that bring upon different weather and different vibes. I like the summer vibes. I love it. It could be that. It could be, something like that. It could be my newfound appreciation for America and our great country. And that I'm very blessed and grateful to be born in. Very lucky. Very lucky. And, if I was born in any other country, I'd make do as well. There's great things in every country. Most countries, I don't know. There's probably some bad ones. But not like it was back in the day, though, But America started that. America started that trend of everybody, being like, oh, wait, you know what? Freedom, yes, maybe that is a good thing for people. Maybe. So, yes. Excited for that, It's got me feeling patriotic, Hence why I'm eating patriotic cupcakes. Let me do a little mukbang ASMR for you. I know people like that. There's somebody getting off to this right now. Good. As you should. Drink a little cold coffee. It's been out for a minute. I got a cupcake on my mic. It's fine. It just looks like toothpaste. It's toothpaste, dude. Been reading my book a little bit. I should be done with it by now. I've had it for a couple years now. How the Nation Was Won? Yeah, I've had it for a couple years. I'm a slow reader. I'm on page 3. No, wait a minute. 351 out of 450. I got 100 pages to go. Riveting stuff, yo. I was going to do a cast the old pod on Mr. John Winthrop, who has a very important role in this book and an important role in American history, apparently. I don't remember if I learned about him in school or not, but so it's basically it's basically like learning about him for the first time as I read this book. I'm just going to do a whole episode about him, but I wasn't feeling very confident in my knowledge, as I do, I have done and do lots of drugs sometimes. Things have affected my memory, and I don't remember much of the things that I read, and so I was not confident in just winging it on Mr. Winthrop, and I started to read his Britannica page, and painted a different side of him. And, I want to get both sides for sure on him before I just go gung-ho into Team Winthrop. But I am fascinated by the man and the Massachusetts Bay Charter that he wrote, and for the Massachusetts Bay Company that gave them rights, trading rights, economic freedoms that paved the way for revolution, man. I was learning that, Sam Adams, there's a famous picture of him pointing to the Massachusetts Bay Charter when the Boston Massacre happened, and basically using it as a defense of why the British can't have military control over Massachusetts because of that Massachusetts Bay Charter. It's very exciting stuff. I love it. It gets me pumped. It gets me super pumped. I like learning about all of it. But I would like to, maybe I would just, I was thinking maybe I should finish the book and just do a whole episode on the book. Because it starts with John Winthrop, but then goes, almost 100 years, over like 100 years later, past Ben Franklin. Jonathan Swift, the guy who wrote Gulliver's Travels, has an amazing role in America's founding, the United States of America. And I imagine we're going to get to George Washington here soon, towards the end of the book. So, yes, dude, maybe I'll just wait till I read it, finish it, and then do an episode on it. But I wanted to do something for Independence Day, an episode, because this should hopefully go up before 4th of July, since it's still a week away. Hopefully I can edit this real quick. I got lots of stuff to edit. Which is good to have, something to edit and not something to edit. So it's nice to know that I have stuff backlogged. I got like 6 videos that I need to edit. So, this one, though, will probably, I want it to come out around the 4th of July, so this one will come out first before the other two. So, yes, I want to talk about things. Oh, first of all, who's ready for 4th of July? I'm ready for fireworks. I started shooting off, or we, rather, our family started choosing to go buy our own fireworks for once, the last, 2 or 3 years. Now, that's something I didn't grow up doing. Okay, my family was a very strict. We go to the fireworks show. We watch the professionals do it, which was always awesome. But as I, get into my late 20s and I'm getting a little bit rebellious, right? I was like, man, yeah, I've never shot off a firework. So, I think it was 2020 was the first time. Either 2019 or 2020, we went and bought fireworks and I almost killed everybody with a Roman candle. But I had a blast. We had a blast. I think we had a blast. I did. Found a love for artillery shells. Those are sweet. And so there was one year we didn't really buy any, but I think the last 2 years then we have. I don't know. We have fireworks left over from last year, but we don't really have anywhere to shoot them. It's like where we live, it's not really good spot to shoot fireworks off. It also would displease our neighbor and her dogs. We wouldn't want to do that. So, I don't know this year if we should even bother picking up any fireworks. I don't know, man. It is fun. It is a good root and tootin' time, People will get real pumped around the 4th of July around here, this little Midwestern town. And I love it. I love the enthusiasm. People have already started. Like I said, 4th of July is not until next week, and people started a week ago shooting off fireworks, and I don't know, man. It really creates the atmosphere. It really does. Gets me super psyched, man. Super psyched as you get late into June and fireworks start popping off, and man, it'll be popping off. It'll be popping. And as you enter the second month of the summer, and even though it's when you're an adult, summer almost doesn't matter. As a kid, it's vacation. It's literally vacation. That's when you're out of school and you're just running around town being a hooligan. Going to your, hanging out with your friends at the mall, getting into shenanigans, hanging out at the local Walmart, As an adult, unless you're a teacher or something, you work all year round. But there's something about it that still has a party vacation vibe. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the brainwashing and programming of TV and media. When I see, Virginia Beach, Santa Monica, you see the beaches and the summertime and the partying. the grilling, the barbecuing, all that stuff, and it still feels like, I don't know, it feels like it's party time. And it's like when you're going into July, you're going into that second round, man, that second month, that second wave of party, and one of the best parts. It's like being at a show and being on Molly, per se, and getting through like the first few artists. Or a few couple of artists, and then you're like, whoa, dude, whoa, this show's been amazing. That was so amazing. I guess it's time to go. And somebody's like, no, dude, we're just getting started. We have like 6 more people to go. And you're like, oh. Those who know that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, July's like that, because we still got a whole, after July, you still got August. August is the end. That's when things get sad, when it's almost towards the end of the show and you have to go home soon. But July's smack dab in the middle, boy. There's still plenty of time to do fun summery stuff. Go to the zoo, go to the pool, go down a little water slide, little Schlitterbahn, little Knights Action Park, little Oceans of Fun. Knights Action Park, that's Illinois. I don't know if anybody knows that. It might be more than Illinois, though. I don't know. I don't know how big that is. Summertime, baby. I love it. We're going into July. I'm excited. We still got to make a trip to the zoo. That's still on the agenda. Love the zoo. Yep. Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to celebrate the independence of America. I'm pumped. Can't you tell? I'm pumped. I'm tired, though. So tired. What else has been going on? Not much, really. Not much else going on. Working. Stand up. I've done open mic twice this year, so I'm pretty much not even going anymore. I went like 2 weeks ago. First time I went was in March, and then I went 2 weeks ago. It was twice this year. I don't ever know what I want to do. It's brutal. It's brutal to go to open mics. The getting up on stage has become the best part. It's the best part when you actually get to go up on stage. But getting off work and having to wait a couple hours and then drop my daughter off and then drive an hour to the open mic and then wait another couple hours and then get to sign up and then wait another couple hours and then I get to go up and then I get to come home and get up in a couple hours for work. That's the brutal part, and that I just right now it's just like I'll go when I feel like going. I got a skit to edit, put that up. My friend did a skit. That's what I really like to do more of. More skits, sketches. Something still in the realm of comedy. Something about comedy, man. I just love it. I love it too much. I love some drama, though, too. I've written some dramatic things. But I really love comedy. Like, if I could do anything for the rest of my life, it'd be something in comedy. But we'll see. Oh, I'm going to be 30 coming up. Probably have to do a special broadcast for that. Turning 30. It's scary. It's scary, y'all. Oh boy, I don't even know. I'm trying to look at it positively. I really am. I have had such a negative outlook on it, building up to it, even just like the last couple of years. Saying goodbye to my 20s. The 20s have been awesome, yo. The 20s are the best. The teens are good too, but the 20s are really good. At least they were for me. But I try to look at 30 positively. It's just 30. It's just 30. Okay, people don't consider you old until like 36. After 35. So it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to, I want to do something fun. I want to do something fun to celebrate. I don't want to mope. Because it'll be real easy to sink. Real easy to sink into that dark place of consciousness and existence and how I'm old and what's the point. But we're not going to do that, are we? I'm going to try to party. I'm going to try to party hard on my 30th. But, yeah, that's coming up. What else? Anything else? I've been seeing a lot in the news lately. It's got me thinking, since I didn't do the John Winthrop episode. I kind of wanted to talk about something else, but with very little research, just some thoughts. These are just our thoughts, our deepest of thoughts. And I've been seeing a lot about a couple things. UFOs and AI, artificial intelligence. What's the deal? It's like we're in the future or something. We are in the future, if you didn't realize that. This is the future that people have been writing about and making movies about and talking about for like the last century. Okay, this is the future. I don't know why people thought, driving cars was the thing that was supposed to define, we're in the future now. Like having a computer / telephone on you at all times wasn't a thought. Maybe that was a sign of the future, But what really is a sign of the future is AI, isn't it? Seems to be the next big thing. And what is that? What is AI? Well, it's computers. It's robots. Kind of, in a way, I guess. I don't know. It's like an amalgamation. Are we back? Okay. Anyways, like an amalgamation of different things. Like a Terminator situation. I wouldn't be against that reference. A being that's like kind of alive, that's not a human being, right? That's kind of what it is. And that could be referenced, like I said, that people have been talking about these kinds of things for forever. A fake human, in a way, that's kind of what it really is. And that's what it seems like the direction it's going. I think we've seen over the last 10 or 20 years, at least, the idea toyed with about a fake, robotic or simulated person that you could like talk to, right? There was that one that was not too long ago going around, right? Like a year or two ago. That's an artificial woman that goes on like podcasts and does interviews and stuff. It's using AI, but also CGI. They're not really there. But, through editing, they put a CGI person there and have the AI's responses, as a person or whatever. So, there's hints of it. There's hints of it here and there. And with, the whole chat GPT or whatever, I think that's what it is. Almost seized there saying it. Chat GPT? GPT, our gross product, domestic product? What? Chat? Yeah, that thing really blew up weird, kind of weirdly. I don't know. When things like that blow up, I'm just like, why that? That can't be the first of its kind. And it's really not, because, I follow certain YouTubers who play like certain games and use certain just applications. And I noticed one YouTuber like a couple years ago was using all these applications of making CGI pictures or what is it? Am I saying no? Artificial like intelligence or artificially generated or whatever, like pictures, and then music and songs and then people's voices and stuff like that. And now it's like everywhere. There's a great little YouTube channel, several YouTube channels actually. They're probably all just like bot channels, or maybe it's all the same person creating multiple channels. But there's a genre of videos of using AI voices for presidents, the U.S. presidents, and they play video games, and it's hilarious. You got like Donald Trump and Barack Obama and Joe Biden, like all playing like Wii golf and stuff, and it sounds mostly like their own voices, but you can make them say whatever you want. There's stuff like that. You can get into like deep fake stuff. There's a lot going on in that realm of creating fake things. Fake people, fake voices. And now you got like this, you got the writer's strike going on. Oh, the writer's strike is so important. We need writers. We don't need truckers and plumbers and garbage men and grocery store workers and stuff. We need writers. Those are the people who should strike. I don't know. I guess a I don't know a lot about it, but I think some of it was about, the idea that they need some kind of like insurance or reassurance that they're going to be able to, that they're not going to be taken over, basically their jobs taken over by like AI generated scripts, because now that's becoming, I guess, a thing. So there's that. You got AI generated music and beats and stuff, and it's just like we're using computers now in a form of intelligence, or as a form of intelligence, artificial intelligence, to create things that are supposed to be created by the human mind, are now we're going to a computer to whip up things. Creative things, if you can call it creative anymore. When you need a sick beat or a good lyric, you just put it into the generator. You need a script for an episode of a TV show, put it in the generator. But how is that? What is it? How is that happening? Are we to the point of fully functioning AI? Soon to be robots walking the streets and we can't even tell the difference between them and real people, and it's Westworld and all that stuff. It's getting there. But it's things have happened quickly, but also slowly, I feel like. I mean, if you go back to like I said, I would connect the history of AI to the history of computers. And having a machine that runs numbers and ones and zeros and ones to like bring stuff up on a screen and you can type into it, even that black magic is very like kind of like a form of AI. So and that was like, the 50s, like the first computer or something like that, 40s or 50s. So, it's been like 80 years and we've come very, very far. But think about like I said, this stuff has been discussed, theorized, prophesized, so to speak, for like over 100 years, this kind of future. And it's kind of one of those things, it's like, do we think about it first and then we're just making it, manifesting it? Or is it just people really did kind of predict it, but without knowing it, and then people are just kind of randomly falling into that, and it's just kind of predetermined, but not predetermined? I don't know. Or like I said, are we just like manifesting those things? Are we, looking back upon people in like the 1890s who may have referenced the idea of like an artificial human being might exist one day, and they're like, oh, that's a good idea, let's make that. Right? Or is it just humankind's natural instinct to do that, to be God, to create? Because that's what it is, isn't it? It's playing God. It's creating life, artificial life, which gives you more control over that life, whereas you have a real life, a real human being. You just hope and pray everything goes right during the 9 months of pregnancy that forms a human being. The only thing you can do as like a mother with a human in you is just be as healthy as you possibly can be and eat the right things and drink the right things, and then you just pray that it comes out normal, but you don't have full control over that. There might be some, what's the word I'm looking for? Deformities, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. And then after that, you kind of just have to rely on a human brain and body, like developing. Like I said, you only have so much control over that, like just feeding a kid the right food and making sure they kind of get outside every once in a while or get some sun, all the tiny little things that, Earth brings us as humans, because everything humans need is created pretty much by the planet, water and foods, certain foods, besides like animals, but God created that too, so whatever. God created everything. Sorry if you don't like that. But when it's like an artificial thing, if you can bypass some of those other things that you kind of don't have control over, maybe a being that doesn't need to eat or drink anything, or a being that only needs oil or something, maybe something that doesn't even die, maybe something that you can keep plugging back in and recharging it and bringing back to life, You see where I'm going with this? Maybe that's the goal. it wouldn't be hard, although I haven't really researched it myself, to go back and find, things where people are talking about robots in a sense, or artificial beings in a sense. And so you see it like a few different ways. Like the classical way was like a machine, a Terminator, a beep, beep, boop, boop, metallic trash can or whatever that can talk and stuff, like the maid from the Jetsons, it's like just a big vacuum or cleaner or whatever she is. That was people's early ideas of like artificial intelligence and artificial beings. It's been a thought and idea for a very long time, that humans might one day be amongst non-humans, fake humans. Maybe lizard people. Maybe. You never know. But specifically, an artificial human. I was looking up or reading. I can't remember how I found it. I think I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about Humunculus. Humunculus. And it got me down this rabbit hole of learning about this guy. What was his name? Grecius or something. Computer's not working. Wow, it's gone slow. Gone slow, dead. What is happening? I don't have a connection right now. What? What? Jeez. Well, I might not be able to look it up. Internet's being a little bit wild right now, but maybe I'll link to it or something. I don't know. Just you can look up this guy from like the 16th century who was like a scientist guy who had some ideas and may or may not have done some experiments on trying to create an artificial being called a Humunculus. And I don't think he coined that term. I think this was an idea that's been around a very long, like I said, a very, very long time. Hundreds, if not thousands of years. My internet's not working. That's bull crap, eh? What do I pay it for? What do I pay $140 a month for, huh? Oh, hi, it's back. Okay. Oh, man. What was his name? I don't know, may or may not work. But, and he had like papers on it. I think there's even pictures, like drawings, that to create like a human being, you needed like horse poop and like semen, human semen, and you needed to put it in like a warm fruit and like put it in a jar, and supposedly that would sprout a human being, an artificial being that you wouldn't need to lay with a woman to achieve. It's very weird stuff. But that idea of a man creating a human being through their own means, by taking this and that and this and that and making it more of an experiment, more of a creation, I guess, because I don't know, having sex and ejaculating into a woman. Sorry to get very dirty, but it is what it is. It's real. That's not exciting enough, and that's not having part in creation enough, I guess. Because I just wonder why. Why is that a thing with human beings throughout history, that they want to get around the normal way that human beings create life? Not only that, but here we go. Homunculus. Okay, now it's only going to take another 30 minutes to load this page. What's the fascination with playing God in a sort of way, even if you're not thinking that's what you're doing, but you kind of are. And like, what result do you want from that? Because there's this idea, right? This idea, I don't know where it originates from, but it's an idea that I've heard and believe in, that there are people that want to make artificial beings, well, for one, to replace real beings, easier to control, I guess. Could just be your worker peasants, right? And maybe they would just live a very long time, if not forever. And if you could get artificial beings to live forever, theoretically speaking, Paracelsus, that's who it was. The homunculus first appears by name, in alchemical writings attributed to Paracelsus, who was born Theophrastus von Hohenheim, Swiss physician, alchemist, lay theologian, and philosopher of the German Renaissance. Okay, so he was the one that kind of first called it homunculus, I guess. And homunculus is a representation of a small human being, originally depicted as small statues made out of clay. Popularized in 16th century alchemy and 19th century fiction, has historically referred to the creation of a miniature, fully formed human. The concept has roots in preformationism, as well as earlier folklore and alchemic traditions. In the history of biology, preformationism is a formerly popular theory that organisms develop from miniature versions of themselves instead of assembly from parts. Preformationists believed that the form of living things exist in real terms prior to their development. That's interesting. So it is different than like artificial intelligence, I guess. That's the idea that you can create a being from a smaller being. I don't know. Interesting stuff, though. Still, though, the idea that you're going to be the one to make the rules of how a human being is made, finding a different way than sex. And now we can make computers, and we've made machines. We've made, gears and moving parts, and, machines go back, obviously, probably hundreds of years. But that, all kind of lays the foundation. You got machines and moving parts, and you got computers, which is like a chip, which can communicate in a certain way, and you just build upon that, and you build upon that intelligence, that artificial intelligence, and plug it into a machine body, and there you go. You beat God. You beat him. Good job, humans. You won. You created the perfect being that may or may not last forever. Or have you? Have you? Folks, I mean, just you could even ignore all of, like I said, the stories that people have written, all the movies that people have made that do depict a possibility of creating an artificial life form or a robot's artificial intelligence and it turning on you and it going very wrong, very horrifically wrong. And why do they put that in media? Is it to warn each other, to warn people, to warn the people making those things? Or is it to absolutely get us ready for those things? Is it to strike the fear in us, make us fear those things? To traumatize us, maybe? I wonder that. But, what was I saying before? Oh, okay, so yeah. The theory of why people might be doing this, like I said, one, to just take over the labor, in a sense, making artificial slaves, maybe, robot slaves. There are stories that depict that. And then, of course, they always have like an uprising once they get smart to it, once they become conscious or whatever. Westworld, things like that. Also, so humans can plug themselves in to an artificial body. And maybe that's different than artificial intelligence, right? Because then that's real intelligence, right? Can you put a human consciousness and plug it into a computer, into a machine? That's an idea. that I've heard and read many times and have put a lot of thought into myself. That's an idea. Are there groups of people or people out there that think that's possible? As we've come 80 to 100 plus years of this idea of creating fake life and artificial life. You know, how somebody once thought, well, maybe we could do the reverse and we could put our own consciousness into an artificial body and keep rebuilding it and live maybe forever, because our consciousness is like our spirit, our soul. That always probably, maybe possibly goes somewhere after death. But the death of this experience in this human body is only weighed down by the body giving out finally, a part of the body giving out, the heart, specifically, I guess, the brain, which shuts off the brain. Are there people out there that really believe that they could, that we could move over to artificial bodies mixed with artificial intelligence? I wonder. And who would those people be? Probably very, 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 very wealthy and smart people. Probably. And who would get to do that? Everybody? Do we all get to live forever? Of course not. No, it'd be the very, 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 very smart and wealthy. That's why they'd be doing it. I think that's why we're going towards this in a way. It's possible that there's a tug of war on what to do with this technology. And that's very possible. That we know these things can be helpful and good, but they can also be used for a lot of evil. So how do we, who gets to control it? How do we keep it for good? I think we're going to see. We're going to see what happens in the next, I don't know, another 50 years maybe. I mean, like I said, it's not moving super fast. Like, we're just getting to what is deemed AI right now, which really, if you think about it, or what I've have understanding of, and is why Google exists. Google most likely was a CIA operation to collect human consciousness, to collect human data, to form an artificial consciousness. And that's what Google has been doing since, 1996? Almost like 30 years. And finally, Google has an AI now. And there's many AI, programs and stuff now out there. And what that does, even going back to like the, AI lyrics and AI pictures that you can make, it draws from data on the computer. It draws from all these things. It tries to grab all these things that people have searched for and said, and other pictures that are already on the internet, and then it puts it all together. So it's just drawing from us what we've already put into it. That's it. But that's just the start. That's where we are right now. That's as far as it's gotten. But give it another 20, 30 years, who knows, man? Who knows how good it'll be? Like I said, we've been teased with this for so long, and it's definitely, there's groundbreaking steps, Like, what was that robot in Japan or whatever? I mean, there's tons of, like, robot things in Japan that would probably blow our minds, But I remember there was one specifically that, I can't remember if it did much talking, but it moved really good and could jump and stuff like that. And, so they're getting it. They're getting it, They're going to mix those two things, man, for sure. It's just, what do we do with that? What do we do with that? And can it ever become too conscious, to make decisions to, kill its human overlords? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. And if that doesn't scare you enough to be alive, then UFOs and the impending alien invasion should scare you. Yeah. We're going to be attacked by aliens in the next 10 years, probably. Or the threat of it will be there. They're drumming it up, boy. You ever wonder why you're seeing so much about UFOs in the news? Remember when they talked about UFOs in like 1954? And then they stopped talking about it, and everybody who kept talking about it was crazy and a conspiracy theorist. Remember that? I mean, I wasn't alive back then, but that's how it was. That's how it was from what I've read. And everybody who believed in aliens was a crazy, kooky conspiracy theorist. But now, what do we got? Like, the Pentagon is sending planes out to chase UFOs, and there's a UFO there and a UFO there. Oh my goodness, there's a UFO there. Wow, where'd all these UFOs come from? Oh, that's weird. Weird. Are there aliens? Give my quick opinion, then we'll get off here. No, I don't believe there's aliens. I don't believe there's life outside of Earth. I know that's a controversial opinion to have now, which is weird. Like I said, it's swapped. That used to be the sane opinion, and now it's crazy to think that we are the only ones. I think we are. I think we are because I just keep thinking about that thing, man, that Bible. Religious texts, the idea of God and Jesus. And even if the Bible's only like 50% true, like if that's the history, even half of the history of life, I don't see God creating a whole nother race of beings on another planet or somewhere in space and also attending to them. God was pretty close to humans. God, according to the Bible, God was very close to humans, including walking with them at one point. And there's not even a mention of, or the thought or anything, the reference, the idea that I know of, and I've never read the Bible, but I don't think there's any reference to there being any other life forms outside of Earth at all. Seems like it's humans. Humans are the creation. Humans are, I'm sorry, this is going to hurt a lot of people to say, which is really weird because people, they act like they want to say this to each other all the time, but then when it comes to like being actually like a human being, they don't want to say it, but you're very special. Human beings are very special. And people have a hard time coming to the grips. Like they because we have this thing in us where we don't want to be selfish and think we're better than anything else. And if there's a lizard race of human or a lizard race of beings out there, I don't want to think I'm better than them. I'm not better than them. I'm a disgusting human being. I litter and destroy the earth. I'm horrible. I wish I was dead. I wish dogs ruled the earth instead. Dogs are way better than humans. Seems to be the consensus. We trash humans so bad, dude. We trash humans all the time. Nobody wants to admit that we're like really special. We're a real special thing. This is these bodies, the way they work, and the fact that we have these minds and consciousness. That we have a planet that literally has everything we need to survive on it. You don't need space to survive. What would be the point of space? If we got this thing that we're on that's so perfect for us, the only reason for space would be that, you would put another rock with another special race on it, and another rock with another special race on it. But what kind of God's going to want to take care of all of that? One is enough. I mean, God, I guess he could do anything, but I could be totally wrong about this. I'm open-minded to this. I just like the idea, I guess, that we're special. And God made us from his image. So that means God's kind of like a man or woman, whatever, a human being as well. Could be both. I'm open to that. But God has a consciousness. God thinks and feels emotions, feels anger, feels vengeance, feels happiness, feels love, feels sadness. That's what it is to be a human being. We feel all those things that God can feel. That's what I take it as being made in his image. I don't know if God literally has 2 legs and 2 arms and 5 fingers or 10 fingers and 10 toes. I don't know. But in that sense, as far as consciousness goes, man, that's what we get from God. That's incredibly special. God could have created just nothing but animals, brainless animals. But he's like, nah, y'all are going to feel what I feel. Y'all are going to think what I think. Because I'm up here in heaven just going nuts, just thinking all the time. God's a thinker. He's a pretty smart person, I'm sure. He's got his angels, so I'm sure he's not too lonely. But so there's this idea that there's maybe something else out there. And again, as we've seen through stories for the last 100 years, in books and movies and TVs and comic books and all that stuff, that there's a possibility of encountering other beings from another world or outer space, and it could go good or it could go really bad. We could become friends, they could share technology with us, or they could kill us and enslave us all. Again, always striking that into us, striking that possible fear, that possible trauma, that, it's so crazy and it's just a movie. Mars Attacks is just a movie, but if you ever think maybe that could happen, you might live life a little bit more scared than normal, right? And do these filmmakers and stuff know that when they make this stuff? Maybe. I kind of think so. I kind of think so at a certain point. But mostly I think it's to open people to the idea of those things, and possibly to predict those things, or to trick us into thinking those things are going to happen. And that's another idea. Maybe certain people are making stories about these certain things because, I don't know, they want to trick or control the masses. Is that a possibility? A very, very interesting thing that I just never can get over was, what year was this? My internet's not going to work, dude. When Orson Welles, I believe, was reading War of the Worlds on the radio, and people legit freaked out and thought it was really happening. Okay? Human beings are great. We're so great, and I think we're so smart. But we are gullible sometimes. And we can be tricked, and we can be pranked, and we can be manipulated and lied to and controlled that way. That was just a radio broadcast being read, by an actor reading a book. Imagine if it was every news station, just went to an emergency broadcast and they started using, Christopher Nolan and CGI experts and Industrial Light and Magic during a news broadcast and just made it look like there was a big giant UFO, in the sky or something like that, or even did a projection into the sky, actually, like a fake projection. And was like, oh, it's happening. There's a spaceship here, and the Pentagon's communicating with them, and to stir up a frenzy, dude. Would that be that difficult for certain human beings empowered to do? We know human beings are capable of false flags. We know human beings are capable of making up lies to get into war or certain situations. It's been proven throughout history. So isn't that idea possible? And why would somebody want to do that? Why would a government want to do that? Or people in power? To scare people into something? Maybe to scare people into following certain orders that they wouldn't normally follow? Maybe breaking down borders? Maybe breaking down national governments and forming one world government, possibly? Anything's possible in this crazy world. Bill Cooper, who I made an episode about a couple years ago. I barely touched on this, but wrote a book called Behold the Pale Horse. And he did a 7-hour presentation on it, too, that I have downloaded on my computer. And it took me several days to watch, but I did watch it. And it goes over many things, like the assassination of JFK, but mostly goes over what got him started on things when he was in the Navy, which a lot of things go back to the Navy, dude, especially like intelligence and conspiracy theories. I think this was 1917. He tells a story about being in the Navy and getting a position where he was handed secretive documents referring to UFOs and aliens. This was like in the 70s, so like 20 years after Roswell. And he even claims to have seen a UFO come out of the water and go back into the water. And so this got him believing there was aliens. But then he started to think, what if they're trying to make me think there are aliens? And this is just mind tricks, smoke and mirrors. And so then he started to believe and do research and believe that there's this idea that if you can get human beings to think there is a existential threat from another world or another planet, you could probably make them do anything. And you can make them give up all of their rights, all of their freedoms in the name of fighting the aliens. Hold on, let me see if I found this. Nope. There was a speech given in 1917, I believe, by a person, and I learned this from the Behold the Pale Horse presentation from Bill Cooper. There's a speech given by a guy back in 1917 where he says something along the lines, and I'll try to link this too, that if there was some sort of invasion from outer space, I don't know if he said this verbatim, but pretty close, that would unite the world along those lines. Something along those lines. People love to talk about uniting and stuff when it really means something else, something worse. Enslaving, maybe. Also breaking down the idea of having a government for every country. Just having one government. It goes back to that big conspiracy of a new world order. One government to rule the whole world. One large seeing eye. One Sauron. Okay? And folks, I'm telling you, you shouldn't give that few people that much power. Okay? That's not a good idea. Few people don't want that much power for good. And they're going to try to convince us possibly that they're going to need all that power to fight the evildoers in outer space. Here we go. April 6, 1917, Proclamation 1364. John Dewey. Someone remarked that the best way to unite all the nations on the globe would be an attack from some other planet. And I guess in Proclamation 1364, President Wilson lays out the United States regulations in dealing with enemy aliens during the nation's very recent involvement in World War I or something. I don't know. Well, that would have been World War II if it was President Wilson, right? I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, there's that idea that's been spoken. It's been spoken out of human beings' mouths that there's an idea to unite all nations if there were some sort of attack from another world or outer space. So if they've already thought it, folks, know it's possible. And when you see smoke, there's probably fire. And why all of a sudden would the government be so comfortable with letting all this information out about UFOs? Or is it really just happening all at once right now? Even though, you can go back to 1954 with this idea and sightings throughout, ever since. But of course, those were all just kind of, low-key conspiracies and probably fake. And, nobody really wanted to talk about it. But now all of a sudden everybody wants to talk about it? Like it's about to happen? Stay smart, my friends. Stay smart. Stay aware. Go off of your own empiricism and experiences and use your free thought. Use your logic. Use your reasoning. It's very difficult. Sometimes it's difficult when you got liars and manipulators all around you. And we live in a world where we're literally having programming injected into us everywhere we look, pretty much. The only time it's not really is when you're just outside. Outside, sitting under the sun, man. That's real life. Okay? Otherwise, everything else could be faked. We've got to that point. We've gotten to that point where nearly everything could be faked. Between CGI, deepfakes, artificial intelligence, virtual reality. I mean, this is the future. This is it. This is the start of it, at least. Or you could say the start of it was, at whatever point, computers, whichever, would be my thing. The invention of the computer is the future. I mean, that's the most black magic thing you could ever think of. Like, I mean, next to even the camera has such very basic components to it and a basic foundation, something very simple. Taking pictures very, 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 very fast, or a video camera. And just putting pictures taken very fast together, it's a very simple concept. But a computer, a microchip, a little tiny thing that can store data and pictures and videos and music and words, that's mind-blowing. How in the world does, I don't want to lose my data here. Let me eject. Always eject the right way, folks. How does this little tiny thing store 100 gigabytes of data, and how do 100 gigabytes of data store all my family's pictures and vacations and stuff? And how can I just plug it in and it's just boom, appears on the screen? This is the future, guys, and anything's possible. Anything could be faked. Anything could be lied about. It's hard to believe anything, dude. It's for me, the way I look at the world, it's so hard for me to believe anything. This whole submarine business about rich people going down to the Titanic, I'm not sold. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I'm naturally inclined not to believe it. It sounds like a fake story that is pushed in the news, created probably, maybe totally fabricated and manufactured to distract the masses. Maybe from the John Durham report, maybe. I'm reading this proclamation here. No, it's not what I'm looking for. That was John Dewey, though. I guess that said that. Yeah, I'm inclined not to believe anything anymore. It's really bad because I'm probably wrong most of the time, but those 1% of the times that I'm right, though, that's what it's all about. I don't want to be lied to about a single thing. Gabby Petito? Really? That was the most interesting, craziest thing happening, in April 2022 or whatever? Really? That story? Most interesting thing happening all across the world right now? That's it? A kidnapped girl? A kidnapped white girl? That's all? A submarine going down the Titanic? That's the most interesting thing happening in this country right now? What? Don't believe it. I don't believe nothing that I'm not watching right before my very eyes. I'm not believing anything on screens, on computer screens, on phone screens, on TV screens. Sorry, I'm past that. I'm way past that. So, get ready for the fake alien invasion, everybody. And get ready for the AI to take over. Unless you wake up. Unless you wake up and start fighting for your consciousness, your right as a human being, as a special creation from God, that deserves to be on this earth that was created for you by God. Okay, we've gotten to that point now. We're way past the point of owning people and slaves, even though that still happens in certain parts of the world. We're past that. Okay, so let's not create something else to push us out. All right? This is our planet. It was made for us, I believe, especially for us. That's why it's so perfect for us. Okay? We're amazing inventions by a creator. We get his touch of consciousness. Let's be happy, be nice to each other, all that garbage. But understand that you're not only special as an individual, you're a part of a special race of beings. You are. I'm sorry, that hurts to hear. And anytime you see other beings trying to change that or push that out or create something else, stop giving away your DNA. Okay? Don't do it. Don't give away your DNA. That's yours. That's yours, special for you, not for anybody else to use for anything else. They're already using all of our data for everything, to sell us products, to create artificial intelligence, to spy on us, they're already doing all that stuff. Don't give away anything else. Okay? You're a special human being, part of a special race. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. I'm going to end that here. It's a good way to end it. Hope everyone's having a beautiful day and a beautiful summer. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the freedom that history, so much history has happened to get us to this point, and things have gotten bad in certain areas, but this is still the potential to be the best time to be alive. Just you have to be aware and awake to the things and to the people who maybe want to take those things away. All of it. I'm trying to listen to you. I'm trying to listen to all of you. You know, when you're talking about, well, they're trying to, you know, those fascists are taking away voting rights and LGBTQ rights and stuff. And I understand. If you believe in it, fight for it. But don't get tunnel vision, okay? Don't look just in one direction. Look at all of it, all right? Don't let other people go down if you don't want to go down. Okay? Don't let other people's rights be taken away. All right? Even if you don't agree with them. Because it only starts with those other people. Yeah, take their rights away. I don't like what they say. They're Nazis. They take their rights away, and then they come for you and your rights. Okay? So don't let it get down that road. Fight for everybody's rights. And everybody's freedom to say what they want to say and use their consciousness to have their free thought and have their freedom to be and to be left alone, to be on their land, to pay their bills, to go to work, and take care of their families. You know, and that's the most important thing. Take care of your families. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, it's okay to fight for the things you believe in too, but don't get sidetracked or too distracted on one thing, okay? There's a lot going on right now. I love you guys. This has been Deep Thoughts. Remember to think freely. Think often. I love you. Have a wonderful day.